Alright, so I am like in a weird stage right now. Um, for starters, I've been getting a lot of really weird emails and text messages the last few days. I'm not really happy about. Um, I have forwarded that to former managing attorneys because, I mean, I tried to explain to them before, like, the level of crazy I go through with people, but it's kind of one of those things, sometimes you have to see it to believe it, you know? And, like, like, I haven't had a bank account with the Bank of America for years, but I did used to work in their fraud department because, a lot of my career has been banking. And I'm getting texts about there's fraud on my Bank of America account. It's obviously fake. It's obviously a scam. But this is very interesting given that very specific workplace I had to send a cease and desist to because that's the murder clown place. And then now all of a sudden after I send a cease and desist, I'm getting texts about fraud on my Bank of America account when I don't have a Bank of America account, for starters. And secondly, it's very interesting given I just sent a cease and desist to where I was working fraud with Bank of America, and now I'm getting all these texts out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't getting any spam texts at all. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm getting all these crazy spam texts. So I am going to have to change my phone number. I'm getting emails. Everybody knows all that Eminem campaign speech bullshit, and he talks about box cutters and shit. I'm getting emails very specifically about box cutters from a place I applied there, but as of last week, I told them, I don't think I'm very interested in your position. Y'all are giving me, saying one thing, doing another. And, once you see that red flag, it's just like, never mind. I don't got time for it. I don't got time for these head games. So, I started talking to another place. And, where I'm really at with it right now is, just find some temp job, work for a while, save up, and leave. The South is not where I feel like I belong. It's not my mindset. It's politically, ideologically, any type of way. Just a bunch of fucking Southern hicks are just not really my thing. Even though my whole family on both sides is from Kentucky. No. I've lived away from it from all of it for so long. I don't care anymore. It's not my mentality. It's not how I believe. It's not how I think. It's not how I feel. It's not my mindset. And, I've been getting a lot of very harassing, very weird texts out of nowhere, where I was getting nothing before. I was just getting normal texts from people. Now I'm getting a lot of weird, harassing emails, very specifically about box cutters, which is fucking weird. I did tell those former managing attorneys to put an alert on my dad's nursing home. Yeah, for real. That's how scary you all are getting. You're in some deeper shit than you realize. I'm not fucking around. And how part of me wonders, is it this asshole that I've been dating, that I'm not really happy with? Because he's got a lot of weird shit in his life, especially a lot of weird people. And I don't really associate myself with them very much, if at all. But he does. And I keep telling him to back off on all that. And he doesn't really listen. Because he's just like, he'd rather do the little awkward dance than just be direct and be like, listen, I'm trying to do my life this way, you're that way. later. Yeah, I mean, and he I really don't like him because he halfway gets it together and he thinks he's the shit. And I don't like people like that. They get it halfway together and all of a sudden everybody that was helping them out and having their back and blah blah blah, they're just chump change now, which is how he's treating me. He's getting it halfway together, and every time things came up short, I was always there to kind of pick up the slack to make sure the gaps got filled. And he's very, very, whenever I have money or I'm working or something like that, I offer to help him with his bills. I go ahead and take the initiative to make sure there's groceries and bills are paid and things like that. Or, I ask him if he needs help with something. He doesn't offer with me. I have to ask. He doesn't take initiative with me. I always have to ask. He just doesn't get it. He's too selfish. And it's just listen, buddy, that's not how a relationship works. I shouldn't have to remind you. I shouldn't have to constantly ask. You need to be offering. So, he's just too immature for a real relationship. He's got a lot of stuff that he needs to work out and work on. So yeah, and this ex-girlfriend of his, she faked a pregnancy, and then on Christmas Day she had a stillborn. It was a 6-7 month old stillborn, and magically, even though it's only 6-7 months along, if you're giving vaginal birth, or especially C-section, but if you're giving vaginal birth to a baby that size, you're still, and not to mention them, if it's a stillborn, the mental component that goes along with that. You're not going back to work 3 days later. Your vagina's still going to be pretty wrecked. Maybe not as bad, but, not to mention your head's going to be wrecked. Your head's going to be fucking off on another planet, man, for a minute. And nobody can blame you if that's what really happened. Yeah, that's your brain's going to be somewhere else for a minute. That's valid. But she was saying, I had it on Christmas Day, which Christmas Day was Thursday or Friday, and I was back at work on Monday. And she's never had a kid before. Not really. So she doesn't understand, when you have a baby, you're down for a minute. Everything's down for a minute. For a hot minute. There's a reason why women take 6-8 weeks of maternity leave at the very least. There's a very valid reason. And she was sending him 3D ultrasound photos, and the baby's face was fully formed, and she was only 3 months pregnant. And it's just yeah, I did the 3D ultrasound. Mine was for medical reasons. I had to have it done because my pregnancy was so bad. I couldn't have afforded that. Some people can afford to get the 3D ultrasound done as an extra. But mine was for medical reasons. Otherwise, we would have just stuck with the regular ultrasound photos. And, but I got the 3D ultrasound done. I was 7-8 months pregnant. And, their faces are fully formed at that stage. But, when you're 3 months pregnant, they look like little beans. You know what I mean? They still have a fetal look to them. So, they look like little coffee beans, maybe a little bit bigger at 3 months, but yeah, and their faces are not formed at all. And that would be a very extremely rare situation, I would think, to get a 3D ultrasound at that stage. So, that's either you're paying out the ass for that, which she can't afford, or, there's a very extreme medical reason. But, I figure if you're 3 months along and there's an extreme medical reason at 3 months, they're probably going to figure out other alternatives. That's just how that goes. So, yeah, I mean, I was just like looking at all this stuff she was, and he's a dude. I don't know why he didn't know better, because he has 2 kids. He's seen women give birth. I'm sure they had ultrasound made. I mean, I guess guys are just kind of, they don't go through it for real, so they're just kind of like, whatever, I'll see you at the ultrasound, babe, whatever, you know. And he's definitely that kind of guy, you know. He's just like, whatever, I'll see you there. I don't know when they have it. I don't know when they do what, you know, because he's selfish, but he's also just very oblivious, you know. And he's a very, very simple guy. He's a simpleton kind of guy. He's not like simple. He's simple-minded for real. And that's fine, you know. But I've been trying to tell him, you know, I'm very aware that you're like a very shady, simple-minded person. I've been telling him this for months and months and months. And he's just like, I'm not, you know. And it's just like, you're in complete denial about who you really are. And it's just like, I just don't have time for you to be in denial about this, because you're messing up my life. You're messing around with my shit. And now you got some crazy bitch with a fake stillborn messing around, and that's really not okay. And I mean, like, no, I mean, I'm, you know, messing around much more, I'm going to take out a restraining order. Because, I mean, and it's not like she could afford to come up here and mess around with that. So, I mean, if she doesn't show up in court, I'll automatically get it. And she won't show up in court. And, yeah, that's where we're really for real at with it. I mean, lawyers know about it. I mean, I've had lawyers involved ever since she's pulled that stunt, because it's scary. And then you see something like on Netflix, that Texas Taylor chick, where she actually murdered somebody for their baby, you know. And it's just like, you know, and that girl, that Ashley girl, she took it so far that she was like, I'm 7 months pregnant and had a stillborn. That's really far to take it. I mean, I've known a lot of girls through the years to lie about being pregnant, you know, to kind of like keep a man or keep their boyfriend or whatever. That's usually the case. That's usually why they lie about that, you know. But they usually have a miscarriage at like 3 months. They usually don't take it that far. Taking it to 7 months with a stillborn on Christmas Day is pretty far. That's getting into that like Texas Taylor territory. And it's just like, I'm afraid if she's not called out for real, like, she's gonna get there eventually if she's not had a stop put to her. So, you know, and I'm trying to make people very aware, and people need to be more aware about girls like that, you know, because those girls they have serious problems. You know, I mean, everybody's got problems, but that's like really, really serious problems. Like, you need some serious medication, you need serious therapy. You don't need to be messing around in my life, and you definitely don't need to be messing around in his. And on the other hand, it's just like, you two deserve each other. You know, you're crazy and her bullshit. You're bullshit and her bullshit. You're perfect for each other. You know, he's also told me things like his dad's in a wheelchair. He's told me things like his mom slit his dad's throat and like paralyzed him or something. And I don't know if that's true. Like, I haven't met his family yet, but like I've made myself clear today, like, I meet your family, your dad's ass better be sitting in a wheelchair, for starters. And secondly, I am going to ask him if your mom really did that to him. And that's not a way to meet somebody's family. And that's what he's just not computing. He's not getting it. That's not how I want to meet somebody's family for the first time, is having to ask them all these insane questions. And if his ass isn't in a wheelchair, I already told him, you know, I was just like, I don't want to meet your family. And if I do, you better have enough money for me to have a return ticket to come back immediately if his dad's ass isn't sitting in a wheelchair, which I'm afraid it won't be. Because this is what he told me about his family. I don't know what to believe. I don't know if anything about him is real. And see, like, the way he plays it and, like, the way everybody else tries to play it is, like, I'm the one that's not real, and that's far from the case. He's fucked up his life, and apparently they're all in, like, some delusional thing where they can't handle the fact that they fucked up their life that bad. And that's just really not my problem. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with everything. So yeah, it really is just find a temp job, work for a while. I don't know if I'll stay here for a minute and save up or move on. You know, I'm definitely moving back to the, like, Pacific Northwest area. I haven't decided exactly where. But, you know, it's definitely more my speed politically, mindset, ideologically, things like that. I just don't have it in me to stomach tolerating the South and the Southern mindset anymore and the Southern politics. It's just not who I am. And I've already shunned Tennessee and Kentucky and Indiana out of my life because of that. And, you know, I wasn't really attached to Florida. I was here because of my ex-husband. He's left. There's nothing for me here anymore. There's no reason for me to be here anymore. And it really is just go back to work and save up and leave. And you know, it's not my job to make people accept that. And it's a temp job. You know, it's not like you know, I did flirt with the idea of, like, finding a good, solid job and stay for a while and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, he is never getting his shit under control. He is never getting his anger issues, his weird shit under control. I'm done trying. And I've warned him that he needs to change. I know I can't make him change. He has to want to change, but he's not changing. And I'm not seeing what I need to see out of him. I'm not seeing what I need to see out of anybody. And we're getting to a place where I've just started grabbing my bag, and I'll pack my bag and peace out now. I'll just walk down the road and you'll never see me again. And, you know, I mean, because he's financially abusing me. He's financially abusing the situation. I tried to leave a month ago, and he begged and cried his little eyes out for me to stay, guilt tripped me, and then people back in Tennessee were being weird, and I just don't have time for all the mind games. So I was just like, it's better just to stay and figure some things out than go and get stuck in the middle of some other bullshit. Because, I mean, some of them are my friends and I care about them, but they're not exactly the most trustworthy people. You know, and it's just like, last time I was around them, they were, like, putting me in a position, do you trust me? And it's just like, well, I mean, if we're getting to the place where you have to ask me if I trust you, that probably means I shouldn't on some level. So, yeah, I mean, they just had to, you know, people back in Tennessee had to come to the terms that they've been incredibly racist, incredibly sexist. There's no way around that. They've been incredibly unhinged towards me. They've been obsessive, and now there's, like, evidence where, like, a former workplace may have stolen my identity to the tune of a fake passport. I'm getting calls from Homeland Security about that. I mean, I'm just really upset. Like, I'm really upset. People are in some very deep shit. And they need to fucking get a grip with the fact that they are and leave me the fuck alone. I mean, I'm getting emails as of today about fucking box cutters. Fuck off. I don't know what kind of argument you think that is. What kind of sane argument you think that is. Or any argument at all. You're just insane. Fuck off and leave me the fuck alone. And this is what I mean. Like, this is why I don't care about the South anymore. I don't care about California either. And, you know, California doesn't even care about California. You know, half the states moved out. You know, they priced themselves out. They did a bunch of other shit to themselves. California is a lost cause. You know, it's great to visit, but, I mean, that you leave it at that. Seriously, California is a total lost cause. And, you know, I mean, do you really want to know the opinion of what we have of California, like in some of my law offices? Like, for real, though? Like, how much the lawyers think you're just a bunch of idiot, blonde, overly tanned valley girls with you don't even have 2 brain cells to rub together. Like, for real? So, I mean, and that is kind of the case for a lot of California. I mean, look at my older sister. So, yeah, I mean, he makes me too unhappy. He's too unhinged. He's got too many of his own issues. All he does is, like, compound my problems and makes them trillion times worse. You know? And I keep trying to tell him, I was like, everybody that actually knows me knows I do nothing but work my ass off. They know something's wrong. Everybody knows something's up. Everybody knows something's deeply wrong. You're not hiding your shit well at all. Because everybody that knows me, regardless of how they feel about me, they all know I work my ass off. Everybody knows that about me. Everybody knows I do nothing but work. So, no, you are not hiding your shit at all. You're not even kind of hiding it. The controlling, weird, abusive shit. He's abusive. He is. I'm sorry, but he just is. And he needs to come to terms with the fact he is, and he needs to back off. He's mentally and emotionally abusive. He's controlling. He's controlling about everything. He's a weird little nut job. And he has all these exes that are weird little nut jobs. And it's just like, get this shit out of my life. I'm like done being clear with him about it. I want this shit out of my life. I don't want to meet your family. I don't really want to know much about you anymore. Like, I don't know how to keep being clear about that. I've been telling him for months I don't love him. I don't love him. Like, I feel like a broken record. And it's just like, just fuck off. So yeah, tomorrow I'm looking into a job. They better fucking just hire me on the spot so we can end this bullshit. So I can leave in a couple months. Because that's where we're fucking at. Deal with it, come to terms with it, and fuck off. You have not changed my opinion of anything. You made me double down on it. Just leave me the fuck alone. I don't care about how you feel. I don't care about your fucking shady bullshit. Get your psychotic shit out of my life. Do not fucking come back. I don't care about your fucking rap bullshit. I don't care about your fucking actor bullshit. I don't care about your fucking movies or your TV or whatever your bullshit is and all your rock bullshit. Get the fuck out of my life. I don't care about prior employers. Leave me the fuck alone. What does it take? Go away. As in, go away. Don't email me, don't text me, don't do a bunch of crazy shit to me. Fuck off. Stop implying a bunch of crazy shit about me. Fuck off. I had to put a fucking alert on my dad's nursing home. Get the fuck out of my life.